I know what you're probably thinking. You haven't done a what happened to in months, and you come back with a what happened to EDP? Strange choice, I know. But hey, I do cover the most fascinating entertainment in the galaxy, so you can say YouTubers are included. So EDP445 had his grand rise to fame over the course of a pretty big window of time that was from roughly 2016 into 2020-ish. He started off as a crazed Philadelphia Eagle fan and ended up growing a massive following that was just as crazy as he was. His channel eventually hit well over 1 million subscribers, and he became kind of a larger-than-life, pun fully intended, internet character. But last year, his massive channel was terminated for good, and now people just view him as a deranged pedophile. In this video, I'm going to take the deepest dive into a character I've ever done in this series because there's so much to unpack within the EDP arc. So how in the world did he go from the crazed Eagles fan that was dominating YouTube to not even being able to get a job? What happened to EDP? The main reason I wanted to make this video is because I actually used to watch EDP445 on a regular basis. For a very long time too. Bryant Moreland, who the f***'s first name is Bryant, was the actual name behind EDP445, which stands for Eat That 445. The 445 has no meaning behind it, and those numbers literally could have been any other random string of digits, as Bryant said himself in the early days of his channel. He started his channel back in the early 2010s, and the primary topic of his content was the Philadelphia Eagles. This man literally dedicated his life to that god-awful franchise. You could tell from watching just 3 seconds of a video that the Eagles were his #1 care in life because of how much Eagles clothing and accessories and the excessive paraphernalia around his room. He was an extremely passionate fan of his team. EDP was definitely more of a pessimist when it came to the Eagles. He was usually picking apart every single move the team made on and off the field and letting everyone know how much he disliked whatever the team was currently doing.
When the last time I checked, you were the bitch that made this fucking team crap!
He would scream, hysterically laugh in agony, throw things, hit himself, and just about every other action associated with a psych patient that you could imagine. All of this for a god-awful football franchise. Now, this behavior expanded beyond just football. He would also make videos about random things going on in his personal life, story time videos, an encounter he just had, top 100 lists, you know, just common average Joe type content. He typically wouldn't get as animated for those videos, but it was clear that Bryant used YouTube as an outlet, which a lot of people do. His videos were like toxic therapy sessions for himself, usually him ranting to the camera about either football or some odd situation that was going on in his life. When he made videos with his friends and you got to see what his personality was like in real life, he actually came across as a pretty nice guy. He wasn't actually the screaming, ranting, over-the-top dude that he showed his audience 90% of the time, until something pissed him off, which was usually the Eagles every single weekend, in which case he would pick up the camera and let it all out and upload that rant to the internet.
Head pounding like a motherfucker rat!
And that's how the world was introduced to Bryant Moreland, aka Eat That 445. Something I want to also keep you guys in the loop on throughout this video is the evolution of EDP's audience. It started off as most people just finding his highly emotional rants hilarious, in addition to another group of people that took the time to troll him in the comments, usually cracking jokes about his weight and how he didn't know what the hell he was talking about when it came to football. So any interaction he had with his audience was usually him, for lack of a better word, defending himself against the people shit-talking him in the comments. EDP was very polarizing, so his channel started to take off fast. Things really exploded for him when he made a video reacting to the news that the Eagles had traded away LaShawn McCoy.
Chip Kelly, what the fuck are you doing out there in Philly? What the fuck? Woo! What the fuck? Motherfucker, you better check your goddamn self, okay? You're fucking tripping, man.
This was one of his first of many viral videos he created, and it was shortly after that I came across his channel and thought he was one of the funniest dudes on the internet. You see, if you were a fan of the NFL team, EDP was the dude you would watch because you knew whatever he was ranting about as it pertained to the Eagles was way worse of a situation than whatever situation your team was currently in. As long as your team was just as bad, if not worse than the Eagles, of course. So not only was it funny to see him literally lose his mind, but it also made me feel better about my own team. Now you may be thinking, what the hell did this guy talk about during the off season? That, my fine friends, that was when we were graced with off-season EDP. During the spring and summer, when there was no NFL to talk about, that's when he would roll out a lot more of what was going on within his personal life. All the stuff I had mentioned earlier. So his audience was well aware of this divide in his content and knew from the months of September through February, we got in-season EDP, and outside of that, it was off-season EDP.
So each box got 10 nuggets, right? So we got 10, we got 20, 30, 40, 50. All right, nigga, so we got 60 of these motherfuckers. So I was going to put some french fries on in the air fryer, but I said, fuck it.
A lot of his viewers were more excited for off-season EDP than they were in-season EDP. I was not one of those people, but I will admit this did keep his channel very interesting throughout that window of time. Because of how viral even his off-season videos started to become, he added a bunch of people to his audience that didn't give a damn about football, but just thought that this dude was funny regardless of what he was talking about. He could be flooding at Chipotle toilet, detailing his experience with the phone sex hotline, cooking. There was no limit to what off-season EDP was going to expose us to. But my favorite off-season EDP videos had to be the videos he made about his various jobs. For most of his time on YouTube, EDP worked security jobs. Not protecting people, thank God, but loss prevention. So he'd be sitting around construction sites and or stores, making sure nobody stole anything. Because that job has so much downtime, he was able to record a lot of videos while being on the job. He'd make videos talking about how he nearly threw hands with a teenager.
And this little nigga is all like, man, fuck you, you fat ass fuck nigga. We could be out here doing whatever the fuck we want. I'm like, all right, bitch, you know what? I'm trying to maintain my fucking composure. I'm trying to keep from knocking this motherfucking snag-a-tooth ass bitch out, punching him right in his motherfucking shit. You feel me?
How he did throw hands with the crackhead.
I was able to bring him up to his motherfucking feet and put that bitch up in a fucking, like a backwards chokehold, and BAM! Plant that motherfucker with the goddamn scorpion death drop, you feel me? And if you guys don't believe me, nigga, like, here's the motherfucking box right here, nigga. I scorpion death dropped his ass on this fucking broken down ass cardboard box. There it is for you. If you guys can see that shit, that cardboard box is laying right the fuck there. Fuck that goddamn shit up, you feel me?
And my favorites, the various issues he had with getting employed with new companies. One time, and if by some miracle I can find this video out there still floating around on the internet, I will throw it in here. But one time he made a video during the NFL season where this job forced him to be outside alone overnight at this construction site in the freezing cold while it was raining and the Eagles were playing. That's a big no-no in Brian's book. He detailed that while he was working that night, he slipped and busted his ass, and how that was the last straw with that job. He left the job on the spot and left a note saying something along the lines of "Go Eagles." Seriously, one of the funniest videos I've ever seen in my God-given life. So with all these shenanigans, his audience slowly changed from people just making fun of him in the comments to people getting to see what his life was actually like, and in a way, joking with him. It's hard to label this, but the trolls more or less turned into fans of his. Instead of leaving a hate-filled comment and just calling him a fat idiot, people would kind of jokingly say stuff like, "Man quit his job and left a sticky note saying, 'Go Eagles, go.'" Or, "He scorpion death dropped a crackhead over a cardboard box, what a stud." Or if EDP was recording a video while sitting on the toilet with no lights on, dumping in the dark, legend. Now I know this was all people kind of half joking, but it went to show that the other half of those same people actually liked Brian and were legit fans of his. And a ton of people started to fall into that category. He got so big that people started making fake accounts just to comment as the quote-unquote characters in his videos, like EDP's Vaseline or EDP's desk chair or EDP's sheets, just stupid shit really. But it just showed how many people were heavily watching him. Eventually, he crossed 1 million subscribers, but couldn't get a plaque from YouTube because, well, let's just say he didn't have the greatest relationship with YouTube. Usually when someone hits 1 million subscribers, YouTube recognizes them as a legend in their community. They're highly decorated and appreciated by YouTube, the company itself. But that was definitely not the case with EDP. You see, along the journey to 1 million subscribers, EDP violated just about every policy you possibly could as a YouTuber. And this led to him getting his channel temporarily banned a bunch of times. There were multiple occasions that it really seemed like his channel was done for good. He had crossed the line one too many times, and that would be it for him. But even if it took months of not being able to upload to his main channel, he would somehow always prevail in the end. Now, what the hell was he doing to get his channel banned on multiple occasions? Oh, I don't know. Being extremely harsh on sensitive current events.
The fucking cop that, killed George Floyd, was he wrong? No fucking shit, the nigga was wrong. You don't place your fucking knee up on a bitch's neck. But why the fuck were you trying to goddamn use a fake ass 20?
Which probably won't get you banned, but it sure doesn't help your case when you already have a laundry list of other offenses like threatening people, peeing on photos of people. There was of course the infamous Dallas Cowboys playoff loss he celebrated. He hated the Cowboys so deeply that the season when the Packers knocked them out of the playoffs, he made a live reaction to the game's dramatic finish. He was so overjoyed with the outcome that he pulled down his pants and showed his bare ass on camera. But that's no crime or violation. Until he decided to then stop the recording and upload that file to YouTube. Yeah, that you cannot do. As you can imagine, the video did not last long at all before it was taken down, and then I'm sure he was penalized for it. Now, you would think literally showing your ass on YouTube and getting penalized once for it would be enough to never do it again. And by the way, I had to stop typing the script for this video like 4 times because I was laughing so hard thinking back to this. But no, he did it again. A couple years later, while being on the job alone on a construction site in the middle of actual nowhere, he wiped his bare ass on camera with an Eagles beanie. You can't make this stuff up, people. So it was no surprise that he got his account banned for long stretches of time on multiple occasions. But he was smart enough to make backup channels for those exact scenarios. He had one backup channel that was like small Julio 445 or something like that. And he was of course on multiple social media platforms, but he was getting banned on those left and right because of the shit he was posting there too. Even Twitter. In Twitter lets just about anything fly. But it didn't matter because through all the internet politics, he was always able to prevail with his main channel. Until he wasn't.
We have a sorry ass motherfucking receiver by the name of Nelson Aguilar from the University of Southern California. If I got my big ass up on the fucking Greyhound bus, it would take me 3.5 hours to get there. And I would probably burn his motherfucking locker where the fuck he once put all of his fucking shit at.
There was a period of time that EDP was making a lot of videos about his dating life. He would start talking to various women, get into relationships, and then they would either break it off with him, or he would find out that they didn't actually exist in the first place. And after every one of those encounters, he would vow he would never go on another date or talk to another girl online again. But it became clear that EDP was very capable of being catfished because he told countless stories of that happening to him. More on that in a bit. But I mention that now to just say that EDP's tone started to shift to more just general bitterness his last couple years on YouTube. After the Eagles won the Super Bowl against my Patriots at the beginning of 2018, that was like the peak of his YouTube career. He went to the game and got to celebrate the historic event in person, but after that Super Bowl win, the Eagles went right back to being terrible again. And EDP was over it at that point. He had watched his team go to the top of the mountain and win it all before they tumbled back down to live in mediocrity again for the foreseeable future. EDP said several times that he wasn't going to get worked up over the Eagles anymore. He told his audience to stop expecting his usual football rant videos because he was over caring about his team. And he wasn't lying. His content definitely took a turn away from the NFL. He became off-season EDP all the time. This quickly started to alienate a good portion of his audience, including myself. His off-season videos started to get kind of political. He would make videos about his gun collection and how much he couldn't stand California's gun laws because the state made it difficult to do whatever he wanted with his firearms. This was in 2020, which was also an election year. So in the latter half of 2020, he also started to voice his support of Donald Trump, which, as you can imagine, really started to cost him fans. Now, to back up just a little bit, in the summer of 2020, one of the last videos I watched of his was him retelling a situation that had just happened to him. He was on Instagram when he came across this girl that he found attractive.
Come to find out, this fucking bitch was 15 years old, my nigga.
He went on this long rant about how teenage girls need to stop dressing like they're adults because that's how they get themselves into trouble. I didn't think anything of this and just dismissed it as whatever. I could see how that could be a pretty common mistake, but it was shortly after that when I stopped watching his videos because I wasn't trying to hear his dumbass takes on politics. It wasn't until that fall when a video from Cold Raven started to go viral. Cold Raven was accusing EDP445 of knowingly talking to underage girls. Now this throws a monkey wrench into the entire scenario, especially the story that I just told you guys about. He basically catfished EDP by posing as at least one teenage girl and started talking to Bryant over the internet. And EDP not only entertained this girl, but straight up told her how much he liked her and all the things he wanted to do with her. So Cold Raven made a video exposing all of this with screenshots. All of that started quite the shitstorm for Bryant Moreland. After that, he lost even more subscribers, and there were a bunch of people that were questioning him in the comments of every new video he uploaded and in his live streams. EDP got into a quick internet beef with Cold Raven, but for the most part, he chose to ignore the situation. And he did that for a while. It was several months until the next event in this saga took place.
Y'all getting paid millions to act like bitches. I'll play for fucking free, and I guarantee you, motherfucker, I'll play with more heart and more passion than you sorry-ass sack of bitches will ever fucking have, nigga.
Two idiot YouTubers were able to catch EDP in real life. They posed as an underage girl that lived in EDP's area and started to talk to EDP. And of course, EDP was all for it and wanted to meet up with this girl in person. So he shows up to this apartment complex or motel or something like that, and the two idiot YouTubers catch him on camera and spend almost an hour exposing him as the child predator he is. They completely embarrass him and let him know they're taking their footage to the local police. In the following days, EDP made an apology video where he basically came clean to being catfished. But it was too little too late because YouTube completely terminated his channel shortly after that. He tried to take to Facebook, but they banned him as well. Just about every major social media platform banned him, and even smaller platforms that most people have never heard of. They even banned him too because of people contacting them and letting know who Bryant was and what he was about. And just like that, EDP445's massive internet presence completely crumbled. So is EDP in jail now? No. I kept calling the two YouTubers that catfished him idiots because they essentially ruined any chance of the police being able to arrest EDP. They acted as vigilantes and prevented due process from taking place, all because they were more focused on making a viral video than they were on making sure EDP was brought to actual justice, not internet justice. But after EDP was banned from the internet, he had to go back to making a living offline. There's been a ton of rumors about what exactly happened to him after all this, but the most consistent and realistic rumors were his apartment complex did not allow him to re-sign his lease, so he was forced to move, and it was virtually impossible for him to get a normal job because as soon as people recognized him anywhere, they would expose him for who he was to his employer, and they would almost have to fire him because they just couldn't keep him around as a face of their company. A new rumor is that he's living out of his car now. No idea if that's true at all, but I sure hope not because I don't wish it up on anyone. Yeah, he did awful things and ultimately you get what you deserve, but I'm not the person to determine what you deserve. Now it sounds like he's just trying to find some sort of stability in his life. But anyway, yeah, that's the tale of Bryant Moreland's internet career. The rise and the fall of EDP445. Did you enjoy this exploration of the EDP arc? If you did, take a split second to click the like button, but only if you actually enjoyed it. If you didn't, then don't hit the like button. But if you did like it, you might as well take another split second to click that big red subscribe button. That way you can keep up with all of my new videos. If you have someone or thing you'd like to see featured in the next What Happened To, leave your request down in the comments below. All music featured in this video is on a SoundCloud playlist, which you can find a link to in the description of this video, in addition to a link to my Spotify playlist, which you can follow and keep up with the music I'm currently listening to. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace. Alright. People would kind of jokingly say, blah.